So in this video, we are going to see how we can implement prechecks in ABAP Restful application programming model. The prechecks is used to validate data before it can reach to the transactional buffer. It's kind of a real-time validation onto the data based on any field from the front end using RESTful application programming model. The benefit of implementing the prechecks is it can prevent the illegal changes or invalid changes from reaching to the transactional buffer by pre-checking at the modify operations. Pre-checks we are not implementing when we click on the final save button, but these pre-checks are implemented on the modify operations. For example, if you have any field and that field value is dependent on any other value or any other field onto the screen. As soon as you are changing any value in one field, it should validate the value from the other field so that the data which we are sending to the backend remains in the consistent state. During pre-check implementation, we can also implement the validation logic, and based on the result of that validation logic, we can normally generate failed or reported parameter. We can fill this parameter and error message can be displayed onto the front end in the Fiori application. What advantage of implementing pre-checks is, for example, suppose if an application is not having a draft capability, then it is fine. You can implement onto the save button. But if you have a draft capability, then if you are not implementing the pre-checks there onto the fields, then your invalid data is already been saved in your draft table. To prevent these kind of changes, saving invalid values into the draft table, we should use the pre-checks. Now, how we can implement these pre-checks? These pre-checks can be defined in behavior definition and they are implemented in behavior implementation class, just like we do for all other methods we have seen in our previous videos. So the only change here is while implementing the pre-checks, you need to annotate the method with a keyword prechecks. So if you are implementing precheck for create method while creating a document or creating a record, you should write like this. If you are implementing on the update method, then you should write this. This was a very high level overview of what are prechecks, what are the advantage, and what is the syntax of writing the prechecks in ABAP Restful application programming model. Now let's see how we can implement this prechecks technically. So to implement the prechecks, we already have one of our application which we have created in our previous videos. So this is what that application is, which contains the student details and the academic record details. These are three records which we already have. Let's click on one of the record here, and this is how the application look like. And if you want to practice the application, you can follow some of the previous videos where we have created this full application. For implementing the pre-checks in this application, what we are going to do is we do not have much scenario in this, but we have got one scenario where this course and the duration. So what we are going to do is we will be checking the computer course should be 5-year duration and the electronics should be 3 years. If I select the electronics and click on the save button, it shows me 3 years. And if I select the computers here and click on save, it shows me 5 years of duration. So this is the same logic or same validation we will be implementing using the prechecks. For that, let's open our Eclipse and go to behavior definition, where we will be making update method which can be used with prechecks. So we will write precheck, and now to implement this update method with the precheck, we need to click on this, and we will implement this method. So double click on this, and now if you see the class, the implementing class, you will see a new method which is called precheck update. Okay, now let's activate all, and these two activate. Okay, so our class has been activated. Now we need to write some code here which will be triggered on the modify operation of the specific field. Very first thing which we need to do is we need to iterate through the full entity so that we can get the current value from the front end. For that, we will write a loop. We will write a loop at, and entities, assigning field symbol, and lfs underscore entity. Okay, now we will do and loop here. And so what this will do is this will get all of your front end information in this, whatever is the updated information. If you change anything in any field, that updated value would be available in your this table and in this field symbol for the current record. So now second thing which we need to do is, this is very important. So how you will identify which field has been changed or if the value has been updated or not. For that, prechecks uses two values, 0 1 and 0 2. If you have 0 1, it means the value has been updated or changed. If you have 0 0, it means value is not changed from the control. So this is how we will identify if the value has been changed or not for a specific control for which we want to implement the prechecks. Okay, let's do a check here first. So we will write check, and then what value we want, that value would be available in this, since we are looping it. So how we will identify it, we will identify with hyphen percent and control which field. So course field. If course field is equal to 0 1, it means this course field has been changed by the user. So we will put the same condition onto the course duration as well. Okay, let me copy, paste, and put the duration is equal to 1 or duration is equal to 0 1. So if any of these two values has been changed, then only this precheck will be triggered. We do not want to trigger this for every field onto the screen. Okay, now next thing is we will be reading the record from database for this entity. For reading those records, we already have we already have written these things so many times, so let me take it from here. And this time we also be reading course duration, and for the field, for the keys, we will be passing with value hash, and we will pass the table here with percentage key is equal to current records key percent key. Okay, and result would be in the student, let's call it LT student course. This is done. Now if size of RC is initial, and if, then what we are going to do is we will be reading this record. We will write read table this, assigning field symbol, and so this data is our database record. So we will do it lfs underscore db underscore course. Okay, and index 1. Okay, now again we will check if size of RC is initial. If we get the data, then what we are going to do is, now we will be capturing the front end values here. Okay, so front end values we will be keeping again in the same parameter. So course is equal to, so if course is changed, then we will take the front end value. If the course is not changed, then we will keep the database value. We will be writing a switch case here with condition, and so what we are checking here is when we have entity, and so basically this thing, if someone has made a change onto the front end 01, okay, then what we are going to do is, then we will take the front end value course, else we will take the database value. Okay, so this is done. Now same thing we will do for the next field, which is course duration. So we will just change course duration and course duration and course duration and course duration. So course duration, if someone has changed from the front end, then we will take the front end value, else we will take the database value. So now we have got the course value and course duration as well. Now it's only pending is the validation which we want to implement, and this varies scenario by scenario or the business requirement. Okay, I'm just taking a very simple example here just for the demo purpose. Now what I want to check is if this duration value is less than 5, and if it is less than 5, then I am also checking if the course is equal to computers. And if so, I am checking if whatever value is coming for duration is less than 5 and the course is computers, then I need to show the error message. So here what we will do, we will append the failed and reported. So append value and then percentage, what to append. So percentage tky y is equal to, we need current values percent tky, and we will close this. We need to append it to failed structures student. Okay, and now the next thing which we need to do is we need to append the message. We'll copy this and then key, and then next parameter is percentage message. Okay, msg is equal to new message with text, and what we are going to provide text here is severity is equal to ABAP underscore behavior and behavior message, and then severity hyphen error. So this will be type of error, and what text you want. So text would be anything. You can say invalid course duration. Okay, and that's it. This is done. Let's update this to reported hyphen student. So this is done. Now what we have done here is we are checking if any control has been changed, then we are reading the entity, then we are again reading the first index record, and then we are collecting what value is on to the front end, and then we are checking it with the current selection. That's all. Now activate. And our object is activated now. Now let's run the application. We go back and refresh, click on go. So let's click on this record. We have computers here, and let's click on edit. Now change it to electronics. So if we have got the breakpoint here, so no error message. Now let's again change electronics to computers, and let's see the values here. So course has been changed because it is 01 here. That's why it came inside here. Then we are reading the entity. So LT student, we have got one record here. computer 05 and all other things. Okay, now let's read the index value and put the course. So what we have got in the course is computers, and in the course duration is 5, which is coming from the database. Now the validation is not triggered because the course duration is still 5. Now let's change it to less than 5 and see. Or I'm going out. I'm not clicking on the save button here. I'm navigating out, or I'm tabbing out from this field. See, our breakpoint is triggered now, and let's do an F8 and see. Yeah, we got the error message here. So invalid course duration. Why we got this? Because we have on the front end the course name is computers, and I'm trying to select the duration as 3, because the duration for the course of computer, it's a 5 years, so it's an invalid selection here. That's why we are getting the error message. Now close, and let me change it again to 5, and this time we should not get the error message. Tab, debug, F8, and see, we are not getting any error message here. This is how we can implement the pre-checks in ABAP Restful application programming model. And if you like the content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you.